Perfect pair of ventures here. John, this is Jennifer.
Hello.
So, we did the Chattanooga trip. If you ain't watched it, go back on YouTube, watch it. It's 3 parts. 2 parts going down to Chattanooga from Knoxville, Kingston, and 1 part coming back. That's got us talking. Of course, we've always had dreams of running the Great Loop. But even before that, maybe doing some adventures that are more local, weekend trips, things like that around. We're around the Knoxville area, so we could travel to Tennessee quite a bit. That's got us thinking and looking. We're going to try to do one more trip before it gets too cold here and go from Clinton down into Watts Bar and then back up into Fort Loudon and up to Tennessee and go all the way to Knoxville. And then right past Knoxville is actually the head of the Tennessee River where the Holston and French Broad come together and start the head of the Tennessee River. So that might be something cool to do this fall, maybe a color cruise. I don't know. We're going to see. But that also brings up the topic of
a warmer boat. A warmer boat.
Do we enjoy this? Do we want to get into something bigger? Do we want to get into a boat that's got, that you can kind of,
Were you just looking at that bat?
Camp out on? I did.
Like everybody could see that you just tracked that bat through the whole thing.
And they follow me. Satan made the bats. But anyway, that being said, we just come off a trip and we'll have it posted not long from now. We just went up for some family stuff. Flew into Chicago, drove up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and back all the way around Lake Michigan. We just love it anytime we go on a trip. We always try to find if we have to do a halfway point, we always try to find a hotel or something.
And Chicago is pretty nice. Everybody talks about how Chicago's bad, which I'm sure there's a lot of bad parts of Chicago, but
yeah,
Chicago was kind of cool.
This was September 2025 when we went, and so they were like, I'm on Facebook and I'm like, we're about to go to Chicago, and they're bringing the National Guard in and they're doing all this stuff, and
but we didn't see that.
No, but I think that was more south.
It was almost like Little Italy or something, like the way the water ran through the town. It was just amazing really to me.
The Chicago River comes right through the middle of downtown, and of course the town's built around that, and they've really worked a lot to enjoy and incorporate the Chicago River in the restaurants and the stores and the whole deal. So a lot of boats, a lot of big boats, a lot of express cruisers and trawlers and yachts and things like that. And that gets us talking. We're trying to figure out what do we want. What is the difference between a trawler and an express cruiser? In my mind, an express cruiser or a cruiser is a boat that's a little more like a camper. You're going to get down in and you're not going to do a lot of hanging out inside it, but that thing will get up on plane and, it'll run 25, 30 knots. You can get on down the water.
Well, I think our biggest thing is right now is we don't want to go from ski boat to pontoon. Even when it comes to one of those type of boats, we don't want to go from fast boat to a really slow boat.
That's our concern about the trawler. If we're doing the Great Loop, we're looking at a trawler. You got multiple bedrooms. You got a full galley. Call it right. Don't call it a kitchen, but all those things. It's more of a liveaboard situation. But the speed was our biggest concern.
Yeah.
We've still got our kids are teenagers now, and so they're a little older. So, but they still like to run up down the lake and get on the tube, and let's go to this cove and swim, and let's go to the rope swing, and let's go over here to the cliff jumps, and we could do all that.
Well, not only that, but we don't have as much time to cruise around as if we were retired. So, we want to get to point A to point B kind of a little bit faster, where maybe when we're retired, we want to get there a little bit slower. So,
yeah, and your trawlers, if they're only running 9, I hear some guys are like, oh, mine run 12 knots, but still, that Chattanooga, a good example would be that Chattanooga trip would have doubled their time. That would have been about 12 hours in a trawler.
Oh, yeah.
You probably wouldn't.
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have made that all in one day. So I think an express cruiser, I think we kind of landed on one of those for now. So that's what we're looking at. Well, we got up there in Chicago and Wisconsin and Michigan area. One thing there, we're looking, on Marketplace, and they're freshwater boats up there. They store them through the winter because they got to pull them out of the lake because the lake freezes. So maybe that's a market we look at. We look at here in the Tennessee market and down to Florida. Then you can get into a lot of saltwater stuff down there. So we're always looking and dreaming. I don't know when that'll come and when we'll do that, but we just kind of figured we'd talk about that.
Yeah, one thing I want wood inside my boat, and I want a full galley or kitchen. I still call it a kitchen because you're not boat lingo. I don't have that boat lingo. Yeah, I want a stove and a refrigerator and.
Yeah.
Sorry, we keep looking around because our daughter's riding a horse and all the goats are like. They're like almost starting to surround us. It's like.
Yeah, they're looking. What's going on? Anyway, we just want to do a little update. We just want to talk about that, where we're at with that. If y'all have any suggestions or any ideas. I mean, obviously the Sea Ray seems to be the big express cruiser, the big name.
Is that the one that has the sliding glass doors on the back?
No, actually.
That's the one I like.
The Carver.
Is that the one?
It was a Carver 350 or 360 Mariner. And we seen it's kind of like a little bit in between a cruiser and a...
And it has the windows, though, in the galley area?
Like egg-shaped windows on the side.
Yeah, that's one I like.
It's almost an in-between. It's not as full as living quarters as a trawler, but it's not as confined as an express cruiser. I'm trying to figure out what the speed is. I've seen conflicting. You know, I've seen it'll get up there on plane and run 20-something miles an hour. And that's really all we're wanting. We're wanting to be able to get on plane, like on that Chattanooga trip. If we can get something that run 25 knots, something like that, I think we'd be okay.
But I like that one. It had like a balcony in the back, and it had sliding glass doors, and I love windows. Right. And so like it had like big windows on the side, and
yeah. I mean, I think we're at least over a 30-foot boat, and probably for sure under a 50-footer. I mean, I'd love to have a big one, but kind of work up to that. You know, there's a thing too where the insurance will only let you get like so much above what you've had before.
Well, and I also want to know like gas mileage too. Like we just can't have a boat where you just put. I hear people put $1,000 into a boat for the weekend and then they just blow that whole up.
We've been there.
No, we can't do that
With a wakeboard boat, remember that?
Well, we didn't do $1,000, but yeah, really $300 for a weekend was pretty expensive for back in 2008, 2009.
Yeah. Yeah, so all that goes into factor. I have seen some 30-foot express cruisers that have 4 3s in them, and I love a little V6s. Twin. Got to be a twin motor. If you're going to travel on it, I mean, I know a single engine will do, but I'd like to have 2. That way, if you did have an issue, you get a limp in somewhere. You're not just stranded. So
yeah, that's a big deal. After we had we had a boat with just 1 motor, we loved them. Then we got a Yamaha with 2, and I wrapped up a rope one time, and guess what? We got the thing all the way back in on 1 motor, so that was really nice.
Handy, and they're maneuverable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little more maneuverable with a twin engine. So anyway, that's what we're looking for. I prefer a direct drive. I've kind of got where I've kind of landed on that. You know, your cruisers with the foot are kind of like a runabout now, and you've got all that hanging outside the engine, and you've got all that. The bellows could leak, and you've got all that stuff in the water that can give issues. Or
don't worry, I don't know what he's talking about either. So I just trust
the direct drive. I have 4 levers. I have 2 throttles and 2 throttles. You put them in gear, forward, reverse, and then 2 levers that are throttle. Whereas the other one, you only have 2 levers for 1 for each motor, and it's forward, reverse, and the throttle all in one. I don't know. There's pros and cons to everything. I like those 2. Not dead set on it.
So what you prefer? Your preference, I guess.
It's a preference, yeah. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. That's to come, and we want to take you on board. So that's the only reason we're having this little porch side chat with you all.
Yeah.
To lead you.
After a long night of flights last night and a long day of work today.
Yeah, let's talk about the water. So anyway, that's
1 step closer to retirement.
If we do start shopping, I'd like to get on here and do that too and show people what we're looking at and kind of thing. I've seen some other people on YouTube do that as well, husbands and wives, and shopping for the great loop boat, or whatever, and that's kind of fun too.
You gonna let me bring my baby goat with us?
You ain't got no grass to eat on a boat.
I could bring him some grass.
No, he's better than the dog.
Yeah, he
I'd
is.
rather have a goat than a dog. Anyway, all right. Till next time.